Hello, friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney, if you are new here, and I share my love of reading and stories over on my little corner that I've carved out of the internet. And I am so glad that you are here. Today, we're going to dive into my January TBR list. So, these books are the goal is to finish them all in the month of January, and I'm going to be a lot more intentional about the books that I put on my TBR every month this year. So being like, hey, here's 50 books that I want to read this month, and I only might read like 7. So again, if you've watched my 2026 goals videos, you would know that one of my biggest goals is to be intentional over the next year and to be better about that. So some of these, they are from my 26 and 2026 list. That these are 26 books that are on my physical TBR that I fully intend to read this month. And I might not get to everyone. That is okay. If I don't, I will just roll them over into February. But we will see what happens. Some of these are audiobooks, some I physically own, and some are on Kindle. Some of them I have multiple modalities of, so I might switch it up a little bit in the middle of it. But I will let you know which modalities I intend to read them in and how I intend to complete these stories. So this list is in no particular order of how I intend to read them. These are just the books that I intend to read this month. And so the first book on this list is The Seven Rings by Nora Roberts. I currently have it on hold with Libby, and so I should have it ready to go by the end of January to be able to finish it. So I will be listening to that one. And it is a 26 and 2026 contender. This is the only exception to the rule of all of them are for my physical TBR because I do intend to get this one because I have the first two in the series, and I love them so much. So, The Seven Rings by Nora Roberts. It is the third book in the Lost Bride trilogy, concluding the story set in a haunted coastal manor bound by a centuries-old curse. As past and present collide, the characters work to uncover the final truths behind the ghostly brides, the legacy of love and loss, and the power that binds generations together. Blending romance, mystery, and the supernatural, the novel focuses on healing, courage, and breaking the cycle of tragedy once and for all. So, this I've been in the middle of the series. I was so excited for this book to come out in November, and it was on hold for such a long time. But I should have it within the next 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm recording this in December, so I should have it relatively soon. So I cannot wait to conclude the mystery of this manor in the New England coast. I believe the story is set in Maine, if I'm not mistaken, and I cannot wait. I love this book. I love the series. Nora Roberts, she's an author that honestly surprised me because my mom has always been a romance reader. Always. Like, she would always make a joke that my dad does not have a romantic bone in his body, so she would have to read romance novels. And I always remember she had a backlog of Nora Roberts growing up. So I was shocked when this one was a mystery and sounded super interesting. And so I do not know if Nora has always been a mystery author or if she's also been a romance author. I am not 100% sure, but I have thoroughly enjoyed the series, and I do have a couple of other novels in the back of my mind that I do want to read from her as well. So I'm sad the trilogy is ending, but it has been such a fun ride, and I cannot wait to see how she wraps all of this up. So next on the list, we have The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This is also a 26 and 2026 contender. So this one is likely going to be an immersive read because I have the physical, the Kindle, and the Audible copies. So I've got all three of them. I got the trifecta, man. The trifecta. So I'll probably immersive read it just because I've really been loving immersive reading. So, The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence is a fantasy novel set around a vast, mysterious library that holds more knowledge and danger than anyone fully understands. When two unlikely allies from very different worlds cross paths, they become entangled in secrets that challenge power, truth, and the value of stories themselves, setting events in motion that could reshape everything. So this has been on my TBR for quite a few months. I got it at Barnes and Nobles probably over the summer after I got some birthday money, and I've been itching to get into it. I'm a little nervous because I've seen mixed reviews from people that have similar reading tastes to me. So we'll see what happens with that. That's kind of why I want to do the immersive reading to get all run the gamut with it. But I do love magical libraries and main characters who also love stories and learning and growing. So I'm optimistic I that I'll enjoy it, but we will see. Let the library fun and fantasy commence. We also have Unmissing by Mina Kent. And so I have this one on Audible so I can listen to it. So it's a psychological thriller about a woman who vanished years ago and is forced to confront the life she left behind when her carefully controlled present begins to unravel. As past choices resurface and hidden truths come into focus, the novel explores identity, obsession, and how far someone will go to protect the life they've built. So I read The Stillwater Girls by Mina Kent, and I thought it was a phenomenal short read. And that one, it follows a couple of girls that were living in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere. And it was fairly easy to get through, and it was a quick listen. And so I'm pretty sure that this one is the same way. So I'm excited to see what she continues to do in her writing. And if she starts to become a new favorite author of mine, she might be. So, because The Stillwater Girls was very fascinating, and I thoroughly enjoyed that thriller. Following book is You Deserve to Know by Aggie Bloom Thompson. It might be Aggie Blum because there's no E at it. I have this one on audiobook via Audible. So this one, it's a psychological thriller centered on a tight-knit group of friends whose lives are shaken when a disturbing secret from their past begins to surface. As suspicion and guilt creeps in, the novel explores trust, buried truths, and how one revelation can fracture even the strongest of bonds. Not gonna lie, I'm going into this book fairly blind. I've never read this author. I know nothing. I didn't read the synopsis on it that much. And to be honest, I kind of got it on a whim when Audible had one of those sales where you could get from a specific list of books, you could get two books for one credit. And so I got this one and Unmissing with that. So we'll see. I'm a sucker for a good deal. So hopefully it was worth it. And I can't wait to dive in and listen to it. So now we have Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I do own the physical copy, and I also have this one on Audible, so I will probably end up immersive reading it as well. And it is also a 26 and 2026 contender. So this one is a fantasy novel set in a war-torn world divided by a dangerous swath of darkness. It follows a young woman who discovers a rare power that could change the fate of her country, drawing her into the world of magic, political intrigue, and difficult choices about loyalty, love, and destiny. So I did listen to that one this year, but I didn't get that much out of it because I listened to it and multitasked while I was working, and it was very much a just get the book count up and finish and trudge through it. So I want to give it a fair shake. I do, and I've heard mixed reviews on the Shadow and Bone trilogy, but that you need to read it to make Six of Crows make sense. I do want to read Six of Crows, so I will be giving it another shot. If I still don't like it after reading it physically or immersive reading it, because I am not going to just listen to it again. If I listen to it, it'll be paired with the physical book. Now we have Never the Roses by Jennifer K. Lambert, and this one I only have a physical copy of, and it is also a 26 and 2026 contender. So this one, it's a fantasy novel set in a lush but dangerous world where magic is bound to nature and old bargains carry heavy costs. When a young woman becomes entangled with powerful forces beyond her control, she must navigate secrets, shifting alliances, and the true price of protection and love, discovering that survival often requires choosing between what is safe and what is right. So this has been on my TBR probably the longest out of all of these books. So I am excited to read it this year. I love a good dark fantasy with high stakes and a subplot of romance. So it honestly might be more romantasy than anything. I'm not 100% sure. Hello, editing Sydney here. So this is, yes, on my January TBR, Never the Roses. I mentioned it in the reading vlog, but just for transparency's sake, since this is my TBR video, this has been started in December at the time of this recording. I'm only one chapter in. There's no guarantee I'll finish it in December with everything coming on as right before Christmas. But this might end up being in my December recap, depending on how quickly I can get through this book. So just a little, transparency there on why, when this book got started specifically. So yeah, just wanted to drop that little nugget of information into the video. Sure. But I'm super excited to dive into this world. It would be new for me. I don't think I've read anything by this author. So we will see what happens, and I will let y'all know how I feel about it. So based on everything that I've seen, it should not have any open door spice in it, which I'm fine with. I don't want the open door spice. So it shouldn't have any. If it does, let me know in the comments below. If the internet has lied to me, because it can lie. The internet lies. So the final book on this list, which ironically is probably the first one that I physically read, is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And I have this one on Kindle. So it follows Mary Lennox, a lonely, unhappy child who is sent to live with her uncle on a large, mysterious estate in the English countryside. Used to being taken care of by servants and keeping to herself, Mary struggles to adjust to her new life and the strict, quiet atmosphere of the house. As she explores the grounds, Mary begins to hear rumors about a hidden, locked garden that no one has entered for years. Her curiosity leads her outdoors more often, where she meets new people and slowly becomes involved in uncovering the garden's secrets. Through time spent in nature, friendship, and quiet discovery, Mary and others around her begin to change in meaningful ways. The story focuses on growth, healing, and the power of kindness and fresh beginnings, all told in a gentle, comforting way. So this one is special for me. My grandmother would read this to me before bed when I would stay at my grandfather's house on the weekends that both of my parents worked. So in January, we will be coming up on the 1 year anniversary of her passing. And so to honor her, I am going to read this book. I do think that she would be proud of who I've become. And she was a force of nature. So I pray that I am half the woman that she was by the time I am 92. That's how old she was. And I'm super excited to dive into this story and bring back memories of cuddling up in my bed with my grandma and reading chapter books. And this was one of the classics that we would read together. So yeah, go try not to get all emotional and weepy. Um, yeah, so well, these are all of the books that I intend to read in January, and I will prioritize. I may read more, but I will at least read these, or at least I will try to at least read these. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments below what you have on your January TBR, or if you have any thoughts about any of these books, or opinions of them. If you do post a spoiler-filled comment, please at least let us know that at the beginning, so if we don't want the spoilers, we can know to kind of skip that one. So hopefully this starts 2026 off on a high note, and I can't wait to keep on this journey of taking down our physical TBRs, of exploring new authors and genres and more, and continue to enjoy the stories that we encounter through life, whether it's through a book or just sitting down at a coffee shop talking to somebody. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.